So when we look at something like the Journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics back in December of '81, reports that febrile convulsions in childhood do not injure the central nervous system, your brain and spinal cord. That febrile convulsions, meaning muscle twitchings from fever, that are actually hypocalcemic tetany, okay, low blood calcium muscle twitchings, do not cause, and these convulsions do not cause brain damage or subsequent epileptic disorders. Okay, so that's what I just said. So we don't need to be fearing this. We just need to understand the purpose of fever and how to really go about correcting this problem. It works very well. I have done this numerous times with my two children. When they've had fevers, they have never had any sort of fever medication. Okay, it works every time. All right, it's that calcium is the key. If you really want to get into things even more so, you can have calcium plus sesame seed oil, because sesame seed oil helps supporting the bone marrow. That's important because that's where white blood cell production is happening. All right, so the sesame seed oil just helps to support that white blood cell production from the bone marrow. So it's not, when I mean calcium, okay, I don't want everybody to go run out to the store and buy any old form of calcium. Okay, your body's looking for ionized calcium. How do you get that? You get that from calcium sources from plants, okay? But when you're supplementing, the best source that I really love to use is calcium lactate, because it only takes one step to be converted to the form of calcium that your body actually wants or uses, which is calcium bicarbonate. Okay? Other forms of calcium tend to take 12 to 13 steps to be converted into that calcium bicarbonate. Okay, so that one that I really like to use is calcium lactate. Okay, another good form is calcium citrate. Right. Okay, so just to kind of conclude, again, you don't have to take my word for this, but I want to read something here that is coming from an article that was entitled "Symptoms of Disease or Symptoms of Repair" by a clinical nutritionist, Judith DeCava. But it was in a journal, Biochemical Research and Clinical Nutrition, Volume 1, Number 9, back in 1990. Okay, so in this article it says, fever is a built-in mechanism of repair. The muscles around bones become warm in order to leach ionized calcium from the bones and free the calcium where it is needed to activate white blood cells. No one ever burned up with fever. No one ever will. Heat a pan of water to 106 degrees Fahrenheit, insert your finger and see how hot it is. Do you feel anything at all except lukewarm water? Yet we have been taught to fear fever. Parents frequently panic over the thought of seizures called febrile convulsions that sometimes occur when sudden high fever in children. In a journal, Pediatrics, back in December of '81, establishes the truth by stating that febrile convulsions in children do not injure the central nervous system. Okay, I just read this to you. Febrile convulsions, which mean muscle twitching from fever, are really hypocalcemic tetany, muscle twitching resulting from low blood calcium. These muscle twitchings do not cause brain damage and do not lead to epilepsy. The biochemistry of inflammation and repair requires increased ionized calcium, because the ability of phagocytes, which are a type of white blood cell, to carry out their function to gobble up all these germs, these bugs, is dependent on the available calcium in these cells. Ionized calcium means free, uncombined calcium in the ionic form. The ionic form means the element carries electrical charges. Although fever is a purposeful process to release stored calcium from bone reserves, it is better to supply calcium in the diet rather than withdrawing it from bones. The pasteurization of milk alters the available free calcium. In turn, pasteurized milk is not a good source of free calcium, despite popular belief, right? Calcium lactate is regarded as a good source of ionized calcium to utilize in overcoming and or preventing calcium deficits and thus fever and febrile seizures. So folks, next time you have a fever, next time your children have fevers, remember the purpose of the fever and what your body's really trying to do is to burn up those bugs with that higher temperature, but also get the body more calcium from its reserves, the bones, so that your white blood cells, your immune system, can function correctly and do a better, more efficient job at taking care of that infection. Okay, but if you give it calcium in supplemental form, that calcium lactate, and just keep doing it for yourself and for your child, that fever automatically goes away. It does not get suppressed, it goes away because you're giving the body what it's been searching for. Okay, I hope this is helpful information. It should open you up your eyes. Again, visit my website, drmichaelbriscoe.com. That's DR as in doctor, MICHAELBRISCOE.com.